Well, Mum was a bit of a stalwart there for many years as a patron. She'd become a life governor early on, and she became a patron. She used to open a lot of the homes and get involved that way. And she had a very good memory for events past too. And I think that generations almost of foundation people drew on Mum's knowledge of events, and knowing that she had some personal experience in disability too, probably helped fortify them when they wanted to call on her for some assistance. And then she was a very good networker, yes. And that was a practical thing too. She would draw all these people around her and have a committee. And I know for Joan Court up in much later in her life, and Mum by this time's nearly 90 years of age, formed a group of women who are well known and well connected, I suppose is a term one could use. Not a term that sits comfortably with me, I must say, but she got it together and they raised a few $100,000 to get the respite facility up at Bacchus Marsh underway, and I think that's still servicing families. There were disappointments, there were attempts to run public appeals, and the government people said you can't have one for a couple of years, and this caused a lot of angst and disappointment. But there was a function at the Southern Cross Hotel, and the Premier came along, and that was comforting. He said, look, you're not allowed to have your appeal yet, but I'm laying the keel for your public appeal down the track. Mm-hmm. And that was marvellous, because the foundation had started this blaze of publicity, and expectations were running high. And of course, the notoriety, I'm sure, perhaps plus people remembered my dad and Gerald Lyons and these people, and Keith Dunstan, who wrote about it. There was one gentleman who was a guy called Moffat, who was a tram driver, and he left his house to the foundation. Didn't have anyone else. And that was about $60,000, and that was big money in the early 1970s. And then there was the W.L. Longhurst estate. William Longhurst left shares of over $90,000, and that was very timely because it helped us pay for a couple of homes. Then there was the Arthur Raper, the farmer and dairyman, who left nearly $500,000. Well, he left $800,000 to be set up for annuities for life for 3 organisations, of which the foundation was one, and the money's still coming through, nearly 40 years later, from the great and wonderful Arthur Raper. The scheme, NDIS that is going to secure organisations like the foundation in the future, provided they can perform to the expected levels. There always seems to be that need, the gnawing need for top-up money for people, to have a few little extras other than what their 30-odd K might allow in their packages. I just fear that it's very beneficial to the foundation and other organisations like it to have that support through deceased estates, and in an ageing community and a relatively wealthy community. Can't people find a way in their hearts to support a worthy cause and do what they can?